and welcome to VuTalk, a podcast brought to you by VuWall. I'm your host, Michelle Dawn Mooney, and today we're talking about IP KVM technology in control rooms. We have a great guest for that conversation. Fadhl Al-Bayaty is the Vice President of Product Management for VuWall. Fadhl, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get started and jump into some questions, can I ask you to give us a brief bio if you can?
Sure. So I joined VuWall about 2 years ago now, and before that, I was working for a AV, video wall, and KVM manufacturer out of Montreal for 11 years.
Okay, perfect. So clearly you are the man for the job here for this podcast to talk about the conversation at hand. So let's dive right in. Why did VuWall decide to go and enter the IP KVM market? You know, I understand this is a relatively new space for the company. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes and no. So basically, it is a new space, but not exactly. So what I mean by that is VuWall was historically known to build video wall management solutions. But over the years, they transitioned from just video walls to AV over IP, and they did offer KVM solutions in the past, albeit with limited functionality and flexibility. If you look at the markets that we go after, typically we concentrate on the control room market. And in those control rooms, in front of the video walls, there are many operators that could be sitting, and those operators not only want to interact with the sources that they're visualizing on their screen, but they also want to collaborate together, operator to operator, operator to the main video wall, or operator to video walls in general. So with our history and with our understanding of the needs of the control room operators, the understanding of the needs of the consultants and the integrators that build those control rooms was a natural fit for us to go after the IP KVM market in a more direct and comprehensive manner.
Perfect. So somewhat new, but as you said, not necessarily fully new. So with that, you know, the big thing is what sets you apart. You know, every company is looking to see, you know, how they can kind of stand out from the crowd. So what would you say are the primary differentiators of your IP KVM solution?
So for us, I would say it's scalability, versatility, and flexibility. So first off, it's important to note that the hardware node that you could stitch together to form small or large video walls of any size, that same hardware can be used to build KVM operator stations. So that's one big differentiator already, in the sense that the hardware can be used for different functionality and to build different things right away. Other KVM manufacturers limit you, or you have to switch hardwares to build different stations or video walls. So that's already one big difference. Other than that, KVM manufacturers out there, what they do is they limit the flexibility on the operator station side. So they only allow you to have one window, two windows, or four windows. They limit you in terms of positioning of those windows. They're hard-coded. You can't really move them. So that removes from the efficiency and the uniqueness of each operator to work the way that they see fit. On our side, on the other hand, we allow you to bring many streams of many different protocols or standards at the same time, decode them, and place them in any way you see fit on your surface in any arbitrary position. And you can recall those layouts or preset with a keyboard shortcut or control panel button. And on top of that, we can mention as well that we're standard on 1 gig network, so fairly standard network requirements compared to others that maybe have very unique and specific requirements that are not as standard as we are. And lastly, from a software perspective, we have one centralized management software called TRX that allows you to manage all your video walls, KVM operator stations, and displays from one unique interface, one centralized interface, which is quite unique to VuWall.
Yeah, and there are a lot of elements involved here, but can you explain the primary difference between IP KVM and baseband KVM technology for us?
No problem. Yeah. So baseband KVM technology, also called physical KVM technology, is the idea that you take a source, put a transmitter there, and physically with a cable go from the transmitter to the receiver. That works without a problem, although you're limited in flexibility. What I mean by that is you can only send that data to the receiver that's physically connected to the transmitter. With IP, on the other hand, you open up to a whole new world. So the idea being you have an encoder or an IP KVM encoder beside the source. You can capture that data, and then you can stream that data to any location you see fit, as long as you have a decoder on the other side. So now you can send it to multiple operators, multiple video walls at the same time, and you can even send it locally or remotely. So again, it opens you up to a whole new world of collaboration, even for people that are not necessarily physically close to the source.
So let's talk about that opening up to a whole new world. Where does IP KVM stand in the control room market today? Has it been fully adopted, or is it somewhat in transition at this point?
I would say it's still in transition. The reason for that is that there are still many control rooms out there that still use physical KVM, baseband KVM. The reason is various. Some of it could be because the control room in question was built many, many years ago. It could be because the stakeholders in question that made the decision to go with the physical KVM were not yet comfortable with AV over IP or the security standards that come with it. So as AV and IT completes the merge together, and as the stakeholders get more comfortable about the security, the technology that come with the AV over IP and IP KVM encoding, then we'll see a full transition occur. It's just a matter of time at this point. I think it's just a few years away.
So can you talk to us about the interoperability of your KVM solution and then some other video wall management products while we're in that area?
Yeah, no problem. So we mentioned earlier that the same hardware could be used to build either a video wall or a KVM operator station. So that's already, allows you a hardware interoperability, if you will. But that same pack node that we're talking about allows you to bring in multi-streams of different codecs and protocol at the same time. So we support H.264, standard VNC, real VNC. We also support third-party IP KVM encoders, for example, from Adder IPEPS Plus or IPEPS Plus Mini. And if you want enhanced encryption and security, we also support proprietary streams, for example, from our VuStream 350 IP KVM encoder. So again, with just one simple piece of hardware, you can bring in different streams of different formats and brands at the same time. And from a software perspective, again, we talk about our TRX centralized management software, with the idea being from one central location, you can manage all these different displays, video walls, KVM operating stations, and displays in general in your facility from one central location. It's easy drag and drop operation, no programming required whatsoever. So that's, again, quite unique to us.
Earlier, you talked about some of the differences between IP KVM and baseband KVM. So latency can be a concern, understandably so. Is latency an issue with IP KVM versus traditional baseband KVM solutions?
No, not at all. So I would say that's a bad rumor, actually. So usually people typically say, well, if it's going over IP, it must be more latent naturally because you're going over a network, and that's just not the case anymore. So there's been many advancements in the past years, even a decade at this point, where IP is able to achieve very, very low latency. And that's actually what we've been able to do. You're getting very low latency, and it's actually imperceptible to the KVM operator that he's actually not working on the source in question directly, and that it's actually coming over IP. So we, again, invite you to use our product when you have it available to you, but it's really imperceptible, and everybody's reaction is, wow, that's actually, I didn't know that the source wasn't directly connected.
Fadhl's squashing the rumors here. So it's good to know for a lot of people who are thinking otherwise. So let's talk about security for a minute. Obviously, another big hot topic. How are you implementing security within your products?
So security is extremely important, very hot topic, like you said. It's becoming hotter and hotter in 2023, and we foresee it getting even hotter in 2024 and beyond. So we take security very seriously. We look at security functionality. We have enhanced security features and functionality in our software and our hardware, whether it's video walls, KVM, TRX, and so on. But it's important to note to your listeners actually out there that security is beyond just the products. It's everything to do with the company and the infrastructure. So we're talking about physical and IT infrastructure, data management, data assets, risk management, network security, and beyond. And we're actually quite happy to say that we're actively in the process of seeking SOC 2 compliancy. That's a framework, cybersecurity framework that takes care of all these items that I've mentioned earlier and much more.
Wonderful. So we're hearing all about it. We want to see it. Where can we see it? Maybe a demo. Where can you send us? Where can we get more information?
So we have three main office locations. One, I'm actually based in Montreal, Canada. We have another office in Atlanta, Georgia, in the US, and Reutlingen in Germany. So if you're in those locations, or if you happen to be at a trade show that we're exhibiting at, then again, please stop by and look at our demo. If not, we do offer remote demos to anybody out there. So we have experience centers that are available online. So one of our application engineers or tech guys will be able to guide you through this. You'll be able to see our full feature set from the comfort of your own home or your physical location without having to travel necessarily. Our customer base really enjoys it because it's quite intuitive.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts as we're wrapping up here, Fadhl?
No. So if you want more information, go on our website, VuWall.com or VuWall.com/demo to get to register for a demo.
Perfect. Fadhl Al-Bayaty, he is the Vice President of Product Management for VuWall, talking about IP KVM technology in control rooms. And we talked about still maybe in transition phase, but probably going to change in the near future. Fadhl, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for your time being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening to VuTalk. It is a podcast brought to you by VuWall. And as Fadhl said, you go to VuWall.com for more information there. I'm your host, Michelle Dawn Mooney. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast if you would like to hear more great conversations like the one you heard today. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.